Ciao, race fans, and welcome to a day of speed. We are at Monza, the Autodromo Nazionale di Monza, and hopefully the racing tonight will be as bellissimo as it was at Spa 4 weeks ago. Best part of a month. We've been waiting for another Formula Sprint 2 event, and this should be a good one. There is signs of wet weather on the radar, which could mean that the racing is little better than va bene, but hopefully it is just bene. I am joined by Alex Foulkes. Welcome to Italy, my friend.
Yes, thank you. 4 months without incident as well. Slightly cheating there because we've not had 4 months, 4 weeks without incident. Hopefully nothing too bad today. We have seen it before at Monza, notably last year with that interesting pile-up at the second chicane, is what we'll call that. I would be interested to see what sort of commentary that would have got last year if you were on it, Toby. But yeah, one of my favorite tracks, Monza.
Mine too.
Yeah, I like the speed. That's about it. And the,
yes, it is a very fast track. You've got basically 3 chicanes. You hopefully everyone watched the Formula 1 on the weekend, but basically 3 chicanes and 3 other corners to talk about, the Parabolica and Lesmo 1, Lesmo 2. The rest is flat out, minimum wings, low drag, fast as you can. And in FS2, we should see quite a slipstreaming fest, and that should make things very interesting if the weather stays fair, which it does say it is at the moment. Fair weather.
Well, that's what we can hope for, of course, but with FS2, it seems like we're cursed by the rain and constantly bombarded by it just about every race weekend. I think we've had more rain-affected races than we have had not rain-affected races, which is quite interesting, actually.
Yeah, it certainly spices things up somewhat, makes things a bit more difficult for those who have just practiced in the dry. In practice, Loic Mounier and Thomas Harvey were 1 and 2 for Apex, and following them was Micah and Ockenhaug for Optiminal. So expect those 2 teams to be battling away at the front this time out. We do also see Cap Clay has got Junior Lopez and Tuamala driving for them. They both look good. And Joe Gillette, who has probably come on the most out of any driver this season, P5 in practice, you can see on the left-hand side of your screen here, should provide an interesting qualifying session. If you're new to GPVWC, welcome. We hold qualifying in a private format, which means basically the car goes out onto the track, and that is at the same time as everyone else, but you can't see anyone else on track. It does mean there is no slipstream, there's no cars to get in the way. Imagine Monza divided into 32 tiny little universes, and that's what happens. So everyone goes out on track by themselves, and at Monza that means obviously no teamwork, no slipstreaming in qualifying, just raw pace. Qualifying is about to begin, Alex, and certainly I would say Apex have a very strong chance here looking at those times.
Yeah, practice not always representative of the times that we're going to see in qualifying. I've heard a bit of talk about a 0.3 in qualifying, so that should be quite interesting. A lot of time to be found, of course, with the track sort of gaining grip as the cars drive about it, because we still do get the track evolution with the private qualifying. So yeah, it should be interesting because the times are going to topple just as much as the session goes on. An interesting story I have from last year when I was racing with Patchko Magnussen as my teammate. He suggested that during qualifying we should use each other for slipstreams, so you can imagine how that went.
I do remember the days of non-private qualifying, and it was certainly an interesting experience back when THR, I was helping manage THR in the Super Cup as it was then, Formula Sprint 1 now, and it was a battle to get sensible slipstreaming going on at tracks like Monza and of course Baku, Austin. Interesting there that Loic Mounier chose to ride the sausage curve in the first part of Variante Alta? Is it Alta, the second one? Help me.
Track map, come here.
But he chose to ride that sausage curve on the way in, which is not wouldn't necessarily say that's the Variante della Roger, of course it is. But yeah, it's not necessarily the fastest way. The curbs have been updated, as they have in real life, through Ascari here. So you can use all of the curbs all the way up to that gravel edge. But you can't actually go beyond them. The briefing states that you have to be 2 wheels within the white lines there now, which is good. It does mean that it has improved and stopped people necessarily using all of the curb and beyond. Parabolica is very similar as Loic Meunier starts his flying lap. But there's also a change to the first and second chicane curbs as well. And as well, the Lesmo exits. So we'll have a look at this first chicane as Meunier comes down towards it, braking as late as he possibly can and flicking the car in. So you've got much wider curves, and the track layout itself has been changed by Chris Williamson, thank you, to mimic real life. And Meunier got that nice and tidy and accelerates through the Curva Grande for his first attempt on a qualifying lap. Tidy through the first chicane so far, Alex.
Yeah, and like you said, Ascari, they've updated those curbs there. They've got rid of those sort of mini sausage curbs that you always had to have on the outside, and he is just riding that inside curb there. Yeah. And that's quite interesting, actually, because you wouldn't think that'd be faster, because last year you had this super soft suspension setup that was known to be the fastest. So I'm wondering if that's the case here, and he's just able to accept going over that curb, which is quite interesting. But
yes, I'd be interested but I would be interested to see if someone like Micah, who is perhaps a couple of positions down from practice, whether he is doing the same sort of thing. But that looked like a lot of curb usage just through that one chicane, which is interesting. Not using all the curb on the exit of Ascari either, so this is more of a banker lap, I would say, from Meunier than a absolute max attack lap, just to get that lap time on the board. As you say, they were looking at 39.3-ish for potential pole. I think they might go slightly quicker than that, personally, looking at the times. But let's see as Meunier comes across the start-finish line, and his first lap time straight away at 39.3. So I expect to see the time slightly improve upon that. But that's a good early benchmark from Loic. And Thomas Harvey follows him in P2. Shimon Kanda for Team RNG is in that car for this round. Across the line with a 40.7. We will see a slight field spread here compared to normal, but indeed, a couple of drivers there further up than you would necessarily expect towards the end of the session, which is nice to see. Florian Haase with a nice top 10 position for now. Let's see if he can hold on to that one. Here's Jörn Dicht in the sister Excellion car, looking resplendent as he travels around Monza on his flying lap. And he is currently around 1.5 seconds down, so not his, well, certainly not the finest of laps, this particular one. Comes into Parabolica now. Interesting to see what lines people take. It's quite often better in these lower powered cars to do exactly what Dix has done and run right around the inside of the track on the way through the exit, and he does a 41.2. So Dix puts himself in 21st.
Yeah, a great, a massive spread with the field here, and I'd be surprised to see that most drivers have maybe made a mistake in those first couple of laps that they've done, and that's a new Optimal livery that we did see last time out in Spa, but it didn't have the correct mapping. So now we're looking at it in its actual design.
Have the correct mapping?
Interesting. Yes, the normal mapping for the materials.
The materials, right.
Yep.
Fair. I was going to say, that looks exactly the same. But yes, as you say, it's probably like matte or rather than gloss or whatever. Now, a livery to talk about here. We have got the 99 Williams in its all its glory for Priority 1. I know Craig Patterson loves a historic liveried car. This is Ralf Schumacher helmeted Eunice Corrala, and personally one of my favourite liveries for Williams. Not very popular elsewhere, but the blue, the cyan at the back, really does set that one off. Doesn't really scream Williams as Corrala goes to P10, like the blue of some of the other sponsor affected designs does, but I quite like this one. So Eunice with the Ralph helmet, Craig Patterson with the Zanardi helmet. He only managed that one season in the Williams, having done a kind of bit part season in '93 for Lotus, I believe. is Yundix, who is continuing, actually, not gone back to the pit. Goes to 19th without effort. That's a big improvement, to be fair. But these tyres do last a few laps, don't they? Alex, you can do more than one lap on them.
Yeah, definitely. It's not something where you, like in F1, you see one lap tyres and then you go again on a different set. And yeah, I do quite enjoy that that's the case for FS2, because it seems like people can push more once they've got into the rhythm with their first stint. And Lopez, purple in the second sector of 32.983, 2 hundredths of a second faster than the lap time that Luc Meunier set in the second sector, and that's a big slide through Parabolica, and that will be severely affecting his exit. But to the line, he is 27th, not set a lap just yet, and he does move up to provisional pole with the
exact same time.
In fact, he's beaten Meunier by 1,000th of a second.
So the way that works, it's rounded differently on in-game than it has actually been on RaceView. RaceView shows him as a 338, whereas in-game it shows him as a 339. It's because the game times to the 10,000th, but doesn't actually show it. So you don't get dead heats like you do in F1. It does actually time further. So that's how that works there for Lopez to take provisional pole. With that excellent lap time, actually, 0.3 for him. That's faster than he managed in practice by quite a bit, actually.
Yeah, so Magnussen also now on a purple first sector. Interestingly, he has the fastest top speed out of anybody from what I can tell. We're 262, only beaten by Chris Filo, who has got a 262.3. So they must be running extremely low wings on that KB86 car, just to try and get that extra bit of top speed out of it. And also, just like I said, top speed is everything around Monza.
Yeah, I mean, you can get a little bit better top speed by running the car slightly higher. You don't get it scraping along the ground, and actually that's beneficial at Monza. It's good to get every available kilometer an hour that you can out of the thing. So, and he goes P1, Magnussen with a 0.2, the first 0.2 that we've seen, and moves him up into P1 provisionally.
Yeah, Patrick Magnussen improving on what was his weakest sector last year, which was sector 3 for him. Couldn't get it quite right. He's done quite well this time and went purple there as well. And this is a new Scuderia Prechia Nera car, and there's not much Nera on it.
I like that one. Yes, it's it's a slightly different livery, isn't it? I'm not sure what I'm looking at. Is it the nose mostly?
The nose, and then there's a lot of white on it.
Yeah, it's keep it out the wall. Well done, Philip. But that lap is dead. But it's all in the middle sector, this track. So the middle sector is the 2 Lesmos and the second chicane, basically. So because of that, you will see some very sort of familiar first sector results, because that's basically just the chicane, the first chicane. So if you're a fraction down or whatever, it's pretty much everyone's going to set the same sector. It's all in the middle sector, and of course the last sector has got Ascari and Parabolica, but you don't spend much time in those corners. So actually, difference between laps, look out for that sector 2 split. There's Noah to Amela in the KB86. Haven't seen much pace from the KB86s here, actually. Let's see what he can do as he rounds the Parabolica and heads towards the line. Let's see if he can get into the top 10. It does look like he's down in that middle sector, and he does improve to P7. So, well, of course, Patrick Magnussen is P1 as Remco de Zeeuw, not Vincent Gutt, just kindly reminded in my ear. Will tell you this, everyone. I have now got an additional cat in my house. I've got a small cat called Daisy, a new kitten, and she is currently being a pest.
Additional cat.
Yes, an additional cat. So if you hear me yelp at any point, it's because she's climbing up my leg. I'm currently having a fight with her about being able to see the screen. Thomas Harvey starts a lap for Apex. He will want to get himself further up the field. I think Loic Meunier has not managed to improve at all since his first lap. So I said it was a bit of a banker, and he's just not been able to improve whatsoever. He's currently on an out lap. Junio Lopez goes to his personal best first sector, so we'll keep an eye out on that one for the remainder of the lap as Harvey comes towards the De La Rosière chicane. Can't believe that escaped my mind. He's only 600ths down, which is not that much. Nice and tidy on the exit as well as he heads towards Lesmo 1 and sweeps in. There's a lot of understeer that you get through here. Doesn't matter what car you're in, it always understeers, and Harvey showing that perfectly as he understeers straight off the track. Then the second part has some banking on the inside, and you can hook the car around with that, but this will be a slower lap. I imagine he'll want to box and change his tyres as Junio Lopez goes purple in the middle sector, and he's fractions up versus, well, in fact, he's fractions down versus Magnussen, but not very much at all, using all of the available track into the Parabolica, and the Cap Clay driver sweeps around. He's obviously prepared well for this event, tucks his car onto the inside of the track for the shortest line to the shortest run to the line, crosses it, and fractions he improves by, but nowhere near enough to get near Magnussen, so he'll have to go again. He does have time for one more run as Harvey boxes, and indeed that middle sector was 3/10 down thanks to that mistake through Lesmo 1. Kurt Rotiav, who we've not talked about too much so far in the ST car, he's coming through and crossing the start finish line now, and he moves up to 5th, which is a good lap time for Rotiav. He's only a couple of tenths, in fact 3/10 off pole position so far.
Yeah, and like I said, we're being shown already that those practice times not really meaning much. Thomas Harvey, who was second in practice, down in 6th right now. Obviously, he's still got one more lap to go, and we were looking at Loic Meunier navigating the first couple of corners on his attempt to improve. He will have one more after this, provided that he doesn't make a major mistake, go off into a wall somewhere and crash, because then, well, you're not making a lap anyway. But yeah, a 10th to be found on this lap for Meunier, and most of it, like you said, will be in this second sector. So we're going to cross the first sector split line there, a 10th down, so not the greatest of first chicanes, but that looked relatively tidy through the second, through Lesmo 1, all the way to the outside on that white line, and then once again onto the curbs. A lot of scraping on those curbs, I've noticed. They seem to be a bit raised, and yeah, it seems about every exit Sparks coming out of the back of that Apex Grand Prix car. But now down the back straight heading towards Ascari. Let's see whether he has improved in this second sector or not. We're about to see. No, actually, a second down. So that seems like a neutral lap for Meunier.
Yeah, he's only got one more opportunity now, so the time will run out if he boxes. So he'll have to do his final lap as he crosses the line. Hopefully he's got enough fuel to do so. And here's Josh Dexter, and he is 4/10 down in the middle sector, so same for him. And in fact, you can see he's backed off now as he does not use all the track on the exit of Ascari. Here's Tor Marlet, does improve to P8 in that Cap Clay machine. He has got one more opportunity if he has the fuel to do so. Who else have we got on a lap? We have... Who have we got on a lap? We've got... Malkenhaug improves to P17. We've got no one really on a good lap, you know. Meunier is coming through to the end of the first sector now. Let's see what he can do. Florian Haase improves to P19 for Excellion. But I don't know if anyone's going to be able to improve, you know. I think this could be Magnussen's pole.
Yeah, but there's still a lap to go. We cut to Noah Mella, who's down 2/10 in the first sector and off in the gravel. It'll be P10 for him, unless someone behind him improves. Yeah,
Micah's done a personal best first sector on his final attempt. Let's see what he can do. Here's Christos Philo, who is coming into the Parabolica now. He has a personal best middle sector, only fractions down against that pole position time. So this could massively improve his grid position. Not his best first sector, but let's see what happens as he crosses the line. Moves up to 11th place. Meunier has done a personal best middle sector, but I don't know if it's enough after his first sector wasn't the best. Micah, whoa, big slide. He's throwing everything at this lap as he comes through the exit of Ascari. That won't cost him too much time believe it or not. But he has got to navigate Parabolica and try and get through there if he can. Mounier is coming towards the line now and has done a middle sector that is pretty good, but he did lose 2/10 in that first sector. I wonder if he can improve. No, he has boxed. Here comes Micah round the final corner, round the Parabolica, shortest possible line, and he, unfortunately for us, isn't going to improve either. Joe Gillette will be disappointed to be in 14th, I'd imagine. And he just crossed the line and moved himself up to there. But it's Patrick Magnussen that takes pole, Alex.
Yeah, at the end, I was watching Gillette's lap. He did look promising in practice and improved from 20th, so arguably less disappointing than it would have been for him.
Absolutely. So as this session comes to a close, let's go through the results we had. Patrick Magnussen taking pole for KV86. Junior Lopez so close to that pole position, but didn't quite manage it in the end in P2. Loic Mounier P3, Micah 4th. Kota Rotiav in 5th place. P6 goes to Thomas Harvey in the other apex. Philip Travinsky in 7th. Mikhail Tuamala in 8th place. Craig Patterson in the Zanardi Williams liveried car in 9th. And Noah Tuamala rounding out the top 10. 11th place was Christos Svilo with Casper Koris. Didn't see much of him, but he was P12 with James Knox, Joe Gillette and Brody Lawless in the top 15. Then 16th was Josh Dexter. 17th, Damir Koratko. Magnus Ockenhaugen 18th place with Jonas Carrara in 19th. Florian Haase in 20th. 21st, Bobby Vakuinov, Dan Hayek and Mahilo Vicentievich behind him. Shimon Kanda in 24th with Thijs Jongstra in 25th. Thijs or Thies, Remco? Thijs, I got it right. Doubted myself. Nick Kauper in 26th with Jan Ditz in 27th. Mike Bell 28th. Janis Lepid 29th. And Maciej Sandak in 30th for GPVWC Academy. And also Bjorn Golder and Maciej PS. So 2 Maciejs for GPVWC Academy. Nice. That'll be confusing for all of us.
Just about as confusing as Tuamala and Tuamela.
Yes, but thankfully they're not teammates. Could be worse.
Yes. I suppose last names are a bit easier, though, so that's quite fortunate.
Oh, back to 1. Oh, nice. Look at that.
There you go. There's top 10. You can read them yourself.
Have another go. I'm not doing it again.
No.
Crikey. Right, warm-up's beginning, which is a nice little opportunity for us to ask the audience, how does everyone feel being back watching a GPVWC event? Hopefully you've had a nice time away, doing nice things. But we are back, and it begins here. Formula Sprint 2 on a Tuesday. 2 days' time will be Formula Sprint 1, and then next Monday we have the Academy round also here at Monza, followed by Super Lights on the Tuesday, and the Thursday will be Super League, which is certainly looking like an interesting race based on my inside knowledge. Yes, so do stay tuned throughout the next week or so for all of the exciting Monza rounds. They should all be relatively weather affected. I'm told there's thunderstorms in Italy at the moment, which is kind of not what you expect for late summer, but there you go.
That just sounds a bit like the Mediterranean, though. It's usually nice and sunny for a couple of days, and then you get thunderstorms at the end of the week, usually. It might loose.
Yeah, but like the town of Brianza, which is where Monza is near to, is quite close to Milan, which is a bit more sort of alpine kind of region. So it's not quite so Mediterranean as perhaps like a Monaco could be.
Did we just watch a murder happen? Board?
Yes. I was looking at my map, to be honest with you.
Oh well.
It's an interesting place, Monza. It's right in the middle. The track's right in the middle of the town, and kind of really close to Milan. So it's very close to the border as well with Switzerland, which is for me at least interesting. I don't know how much you like maps, but I do love a good map myself. But it's very definitely not on the coast. So you don't have the kind of random weather that you would have at, say, Monza, a Monaco, or, you know, I'm trying to think of another Mediterranean track, and I can't. Barcelona.
Portimao.
Portimao, yes, Portimao, very good one. In fact, that's more like it's Portugal, isn't it? It's not actually Mediterranean in Portugal. It's Atlantic Ocean, isn't it?
Oh, basically the same thing, in my opinion.
But yes, Portimao's on the south coast for sure. It's
If you want to count Istanbul, that's
I guess you can count
just
Istanbul.
outside of it.
I guess you can. Apparently it's called the Sea of Marmara in that area, but it is still connected very it's very
Slightly.
connected to the Mediterranean, so
Yeah.
I'd like to see a
Counting it.
track. I'd like to see a track on, like, I don't know, Cyprus or something. That'd be cool. Why is everyone missing the braking zone? Delarosia, by the way, in the background.
I think they're just having fun.
Maybe.
trying to-
Maybe. I mean, this is, ultimately we all are all here for fun. Hopefully we will have a fun round from that point of view. What did you get up into in the 4-week break, Alex? What did you get up to?
Nothing, fortunately.
Nothing. You did nothing.
Yeah, I did nothing whatsoever. I hibernated the entire time. I only wake up to commentate on FS2.
That is your only role in life.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. I have to say mine was quite exciting. I've been to a football match. I've done my garden, redone my garden. Very exciting. I redid my tool cupboard. You don't know how much
yes.
joy that brings me.
No, that is. Yeah.
So I reorganized
That's
all of
peak.
that and put everything. Yeah, put it all in a nice place. Had a couple of barbecues with my missus. That was nice, and took my daughter to see my parents. That was nice too. My mother, bless her, has broken her ankle in the last few weeks, which is not ideal. So I've been trying to look after her where we can. But she lives a while away. So there you go. That's an insight into my life, which is, I guess, more varied than just hibernating.
Yes. It is a little bit, I would imagine.
Do you really do nothing? Come on, you must have done something.
Nothing exciting, to be honest with you, that I would bring forward.
Well, come on. Did you like buy some new shoes?
No.
Okay.
I'm not an exciting person,
Oh, that's so sad. Don't say that. I think you're very exciting, Alex. I enjoy this.
Yes.
Every few weeks.
Mhm.
There's some interesting chatting going on in the YouTube chat. Let us know what you did in the 4 weeks. If it's practice for X series, I don't want to see that. I want to see something interesting that you all did, such as, I don't know, watched F1 in the garden, go on a nice long walk over a mountain, created memes about Alex Lahoo, that sort of thing.
Spent the entire time watching the crash at Silverstone.
Yes.
Mm.
Alex is very fast and will one day be, I'm sure, a race winner in Super League. He's dominating Super Lights this season. That championship is perhaps already, I would say, wrapped up in his favour, considering the advantage he has. But there are, opportunities for people to take points off him this season. Super League, much the same sort of thing. Jan Grankvist is currently leading that one by a big margin, but that too can change. But Formula Sprint 2, where we are today, Patrick Magnussen and Mateusz Majka are top, and I would say Majka has a bit of work to do to get ahead of Patrick Magnussen. As we know, Magnussen is a very solid driver. Majka has taken a couple of race wins this season. Magnussen, of course, too. So keep an eye out for those two.
We almost had a throwback to China with Matrika.
Patrick Magnussen, indeed. That was funny. We do miss the Jesse Lahtinen, who was Magnussen's closest contender in the early part of the season. Hope he's doing well with his mandatory military service. But Magnussen is surely the one to watch for the remainder of the season. I noticed Joe Gillette and Junio Lopez have set very, very competitive times in race trim at least, atop the timesheets. Just keep an eye out on, especially Gillette, fighting his way through the pack if he can. Look at the slipstream. It's very, very big in the FS2 cars, and there's not that much relatively dirty air. So as Magnussen will show us down the start-finish straight, it is possible to slipstream all the way down the start-finish straight and get close enough to make a move into the chicane. And he was a little bit sideways on the exit of Parabolica, but you can see even with that, he's almost close enough to make a move down the inside. So keep an eye out on that and the big trains of cars where you get 2 or 3 in a row piling their way past a lone wolf, if you like. And I think slipstreaming will be a big deal here. I remember it being so a couple of years ago when I did a race at Monza in Formula Sprint 2.
Just one.
Well, actually, yes, because I stalled on the grid for race 2.
Ah, that's a classic trick, so you don't have to do both races.
I mean, I wanted to. I won the first one.
Oh, well.
But what happened was I stalled on the grid and then someone hit me.
So what you're saying is the exact same thing that happened to Loic Meunier last race.
Yeah, actually. That's a good point. Didn't make the link. But yes, Meunier, unfortunately, was stationary on the grid. We also saw... it was Magnussen, right, who blew his engine up at Eau Rouge.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which was...
a bad race too all around for both of these drivers that we're watching right now.
Yeah. So Magnussen, I said it just before they went through Eau Rouge. I said they should be able to get through side by side. And then we switched to a different camera angle and he's rotating with his engine blown up. So not ideal for Patrick.
Top tip. If you go into neutral, don't ship up into first until you've got the clutch in. Otherwise, you will no longer have an engine. Or pistons. They've started a space program by now. But yeah.
Alex Maggio saying whilst he was away, he lost the FSR Pro Championship by 1 point. So that's what he was doing in his time away.
It's unfortunate. I wonder if he tried winning it by...
It would have been better, wouldn't it? That's what I would have done in my time away.
Yeah, that's what I would have done.
Yeah. Beggars cannot be choosers. I don't know what that phrase even really means, to be honest. I just lob it in from time to time.
Yeah, it's not applicable.
Look at this.
There, I don't think. Oh.
Yeah, it's some fun racing going on. They're going to go side by side into Lesmo 1. They're not really warming anything up other than their racing knowledge. Whoa, who's that in the Optiminal?
Don't actually know. Hayek?
Ockenhauer.
Okay.
He messaged me before the race, by the way. Thank you, Amari. I've just had a message from Amari Watson saying, wishing Mama Davis a speedy recovery. I will pass that on. Thank you. What was I saying? Hey, I know you guys in the commentary booth will most likely focus on the title battle, but don't forget the battle for the bronze medal between me and Craig Patterson.
There you go.
So, Magnus Ockenhauer obviously wanting us to look into that. They are quite close, to be fair. It's currently advantage Patterson by 14 points. They're both behind Lahtinen at the moment, but Lahtinen we know is absent for the rest of the season, so that is a battle for bronze, as they say.
Yes. And we'll have a battle for bronze here as well at Monza, hopefully. That'd be interesting. Maybe even for gold. That would be extra interesting.
It is the Paralympics, so it is an on-topic thing to use the medal system. Thankfully, Bernie Eccleston didn't force it in Formula 1. Do you remember that? He was going to use, as opposed to points, it was medals. And then the championship would be won by who had the most medals.
Yes. That seems great for deciding teams championships.
Literally.
Can't wait for Williams to get their podium this season.
Sauber is the one, man. They have no pace at all in that car. I don't know what they were doing over the winter.
Nothing, I'm assuming.
Maybe it's budget related, I guess. I don't know. It's a shame because Bottas is clearly quick and, Joe is well liked.
No compliments about speed, though.
Well, you know, what do you want me to say? But I'm interested to watch Behrman in the Haas next time out after Kevin Magnussen, different spelling, no relation, got his penalty. And has now got a race ban to his name. It's always going to happen, wouldn't it? He's a loose cannon.
Well, yes, but also point both on the license and on the drivers' championship, I guess, for him. So all was well worth it, I'm sure.
Yes.
Well,
Matusz Piskan in the break was blowing up. No, sorry, Christian Vazdar blew up Kurt Rotiav's Minecraft dog, and now Rotiav is sad about it. That's what was happening in the break for those guys. Nice to see the community spreading to other games then. Right, race hats on. Patrick Magnussen leads the field away for the formation lap, followed by Loic Mounier with Junio Lopez and Maciej Majka on row 2. Row 3 is the aforementioned Kurt Rotiav with Thomas Harvey for Apex alongside him. Row 4, Filip Chavinsky and Mikhail Tuamala for Cap Clay. Row 5, Craig Patterson and Noah Tuamela with row 6, Christos Philo for Reading Game, followed by Kasper Kuritz for Frischland. 13th place is James Knox for Team RNG with Joe Gillette for Hunter Birch, Brody Lawless and Josh Dexter behind them in 15th and 16th place. 17th and returning to the seat is Damir Karatko with Magnus Ockenhaug in the Optiminal. In 18th place, Jonas Karala in that Williams 99 liveried car, followed by Florian Hauser in 20th, Bobby Vakuanov and Dan Hayek in 21st and 22nd, with P23 and P24 Vicentievich and Shimon Kanda making his debut for Team RNG. 25th place Nick Kauper for Frischland with Jörn Dix in 26th. Mike Bell disappointed probably with 27th, but keep an eye on him. Hopefully he won't have any contact this round, with Johannes Leppert behind him in 28th. Maciej Sandak, I'm so sorry. Bjorn Golder, Maciej Pies and Thijs Youngstra round out the field. I'm so sorry, Maciej Sandak. I can do your name, I just fell out, my head fell off. Thank you. Remco just said the last one's perfect. Well, you know, I can speak Dutch, I guess.
It wouldn't be a Toby Davis grid reading without at least one mistake.
Thanks. Here's Matrico Pagnuson coming around the Parabolica. He has led them around quite rapidly, considering. And they are now sort of lining up for the start of race 1. It's a long run down to turn 1. You've got to get a good getaway if you're in pole position, because he will be slipstreamed into that first chicane. And Magnussen lines up in his grid slot nicely. Daisy needs to move. Alongside him then will be Loic Mounier. And this is Thijs Youngstra coming to the back of the grid. Once he lines up, the red lights will come on, and then they will not be on anymore, and we will be racing. Cars are all in position now. You can see the red lights in the top left of your screen. There are 5 of them. And now there isn't. And away goes Magnussen. Away goes Mounier, who seems to have got the better launch, actually. Magnussen's going to have to give up P1 as they head down towards the first chicane behind them. And heavily in the slipstream, we've got... Oh, it's going to be contact as they go into the chicane. And Mounier is going to lose the lead, but he... Bosh! Bosh! Lopez goes wide. And Magnussen settles in behind Mounier towards the second chicane now. So, and Mike is involved as well. But Junio Lopez, very late on the brakes, gave Mounier kind of a bit of a tap. Mounier left him no room on the outside then. So, down into the second chicane. Mike is trying to make something work on the outside. It's not going to happen this time around. But behind them, Kurt Rotiav courtesy of Lopez's mistake, has moved up as well. I think in the background that was the other KV86 of Noah Tuamele. It was indeed who got a bit sideways on the exit of that second chicane, but back towards the front then. Micah pulls out of the slipstream, trying to make a move towards Ascari. It's been frenetic this first lap, but Mounier leads.
Yeah, there's a lot going on across the start line. I think Jones Violet apparently got a jump start. He had a slow start as well. I saw him get overtaken by, I believe it was Josh Dexter back, and a lot of dust being kicked up through Ascari, but Magnussen is able to hold on to second for now. He's got Micah close behind him. Kurt Rojov moving out to the side on Junio Lopez, who did overtake him after dropping down, but backs out before the Parabolica. Further ahead, see Magnussen and Micah. Micah's right on the diffuser of that KV86 car. Magnussen will have a bit of slipstream from Mounier here as we head to the first corner, but I would imagine it's not as much as Micah is getting, who's closing in quite quickly on the back of that KV86 car. But look at that huge train down the straight. No overtake to be made for second, and it's a better run through the first corner now. Christos Vilo goes wide, very wide in fact, almost loses 3 positions, but has to sort of block Thomas Harvey, and I believe that is Brody Lawless, who are 3 wide behind him. That is Thomas Harvey, James Knox, and Lawless 3 wide out of the first corner. And it seems like James Knox is the biggest loser out of all of them. And Harvey is able to get up to 9th for a nicely executed move that was going to happen in the first corner. We've got a bit of gravel going up in the background. Someone's off. Oh, I don't know who that is. And I think we have a spinner back there.
Plenty going on further back. There's a lot of niggly little battles going on. Patterson, we're watching him in 12th position, but the front 5 have got a sensible sized gap to Javinski behind them. They will all have slipstream off one another. Junio Lopez needs to stay within that 1 second if he can. Although there's no DRS in Formula Sprint 2, that's roughly where the slipstream is powerful. Beyond that, it kind of tails off, and you can't really notice anything beyond 2 seconds, I'm led to believe. So Lopez will be gaining on the front 3 for the next couple of laps if he can stay in touch. But the front 3 certainly have a sensible gap back to him for now. Here's James Knox in that 10th place RNG car. And as they head onto the start-finish straight, the start of lap 3. And this race will go by quickly, by the way. Here's Magnussen, who's managed to get enough of a slipstream to get alongside and indeed ahead of Mounier as they go into turn 1 and turn 2. And that was a good move down the inside, important for his championship challenge. Now, can Micah and can Mounier indeed fight back against Magnussen? And here comes Micah indeed, and he will actually get a slipstream whilst in front of him Mounier does not. Mounier is going to try and line up Magnussen down the inside into the Della Roggia chicane. Oh, they're so close to touching, but that was perfect from both of them. And Magnussen holds on to the lead for another, well, at least section of this lap as they head through Lesmo 1 and Lesmo 2. And in fact, Mounier, a little bit out of shape through the first Lesmo, has lost a bit of ground as Magnussen then dips a wheel into the gravel, and the front 3 are definitely pulling away as it stands.
Yeah, I'd just like to point out Messier Sandak in 23rd. A great start from him for the Academy driver. We do also have 2 retirements. Vicente Havich and Messier Piez have both retired, and I would imagine that's a connected incident. And I'm sure we'll see it in the replays later on. And people don't like that grass at the inside of the first section of Ascari, but Micah is right on the back of Mounier as we head onto the main straight here.
Mounier doesn't seem to have the race pace that compared to his qualifying pace, does he? He's not quite as dominant as Mounier has been this season so far when he's come to race for Apex, and Micah indeed has got enough of overspeed to get alongside. Of course, Mounier will have the slipstream from Magnus in front, so Micah's going to have to dip back in, but then lunges at the last second. I think Mounier was wise and braked a little bit later anyway and held on to that position. That was a bit sketchy from Micah, and he's lost a couple of car lengths. This will help him, but what it has done is it's meant that Junio Lopez and Kurt Rotjav, who is in his slipstream as well, have caught the front 3, and Magnussen has just slightly gapped Mounier as it stands, and that will help his chances for his race win.
Yeah, Meunier is going to be defending like anything from Micah here. Just try and stay ahead in second. Obviously, it might not be beneficial to stay ahead with the slipstream, but now Micah has to worry about the two cars behind him, Lopez and Rochav, as Rochav dips a wheel into the gravel, loses a bit of ground to Lopez, but remains in that slipstream range for now. But this is Lopez right on the back of Micah, 10th between them as they head into Ascari, and this might just be the move for third, or Lopez to be able to get back up into third after that lap one sort of excursion off the track after hitting into the back of Meunier. And here's Meunier on the back of Magnussen as well, on the inside into the Parabolica, and he does make the move well, and it seems to have sacrificed a bit of Magnussen's exit, because there's Micah right on the back of the KBW6 car, tries to go to the outside of the track at exit of Parabolica. Magnussen pulls out of the slipstream, and we might be about, like you say, to see free wide into the first corner. Micah navigates to the inside, but thinks better of it as they're side by side into turn one. There seems to be a bit of contact between Magnussen and Meunier. It seems that the order is unchanged from last lap at the front, but Micah now still a lot closer to Meunier than he was last time.
Yeah, and this again, look, so if he boxes Meunier in, oh no, but Meunier's been able to slide down the inside of Magnussen. There's going to be contact! Oh, Meunier jumps over the sausage curb, just like his qualifying line. Good job he practiced that, because Magnussen I don't think left that much room for him to sit there. It's a bit difficult to see from that camera angle, but this is going to get exciting as the race goes on. We're only just on lap 5 now, and we've got probably the rest of the race will be similar to this. It looks like nobody can gap the car in front. Here comes Kurt Rotiav, but the problem is, right, is that he pulls out of the slipstream. Look at the way Lopez is able to hold on to that position because he's drafting Micah in front. And all of this, I don't know if you've noticed, but Chavinsky is actually closing back in on this group. He's not that far behind. It was up to 2 or 3 seconds. It's now 1.5. So there's definitely an opportunity here if the front 4 or 5 squabble for the drivers behind to catch them back up.
Yeah, and Micah once again tries to attack Meunier ahead of him. He's a lot closer along the straight than he was last time, but I think we'll see it again when neither driver wants to pull out of the slipstream because they realize they're going to lose the advantage. Micah pulls out and does seem to have a bit of an overspeed, but like you mentioned, Meunier actually goes deep into turn 1. They're side by side out of turn 2. Micah actually might get the move here. There's no space on the exit there for Micah, and Meunier might be about to lose out as well to Junio Lopez, who tries the outside of the Curva Grande but doesn't have the slipstream, can't get that overspeed. They're side by side now into Della Roja. It's Meunier on the outside, Micah on the inside. Micah has to break a little earlier, but Meunier is across the gravel on the inside, and Micah gets past him. Junio Lopez on the outside of Micah into Lesmo 1. He might get the move past Meunier here, and he does. But here we go. The battle is just starting for the podium. Meunier down into 4th from 2nd. He has Rocha behind him. And there is Savinsky right on the back of this train.
Micah's doing a very sensible thing here. He's trying to avoid giving anyone a slipstream. He's going to hunt down Magnussen as they head towards the Ascari. But Magnussen's got a couple of seconds on him. As side by side goes Lopez. Oh, no! Lopez is round! Oh, and he's lost his front wing! So Lopez is going to be effectively out of the running in this one. And I don't know if Meunier left him enough room. He was bouncing across the grass on the inside. You're going the wrong way, my friend. You need to use that little bit of grass on the inside and flick the car around there. And it's race over, actually, for Lopez. He's given up, but contact between himself and Meunier. Meunier is getting swallowed up here. Just does not have the race pace, does he?
No, and Meunier will continue to drop down once these cars catch back up to him. But we've got another 5-way battle evolving here between Rochav and Tuamala. Tuamala profiting off of his teammates' sort of excursion off the track, and now drops back down to 5th. Rochav gets past him, but Thomas Harvey, Savinsky, and Svilo are right there to pick up any scraps that might be left here.
Yeah, Micah and Meunier then have gapped Rochav as a result of all of that nonsense in Ascari, and here comes Tuamala on Rotiav as well. So unfortunately for Rotiav, he was just a sort of innocent bystander, but presumably had to lift off and brake. And unfortunately for him, he's going to get swallowed up as the cars behind him pile through. Tuamala, the first of those to go through, and he takes that position. And Rotiav's wide as well. He's going to lose out to Thomas Harvey into Lesmo 2, and Harvey makes the move, stick on the inside, and takes that position away. I'm going to keenly keep an eye on my second monitor on the gap between Micah and Magnussen as we watch this battle. And it looks like Micah currently, he is 1.3 behind. So let's keep an eye on that for the rest of the race as we watch Filip Travinski here in 7th place, part of this gaggle of cars fighting over the battle for 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th.
Yeah, it seems like Rochav has just lost a bit of rhythm as Stravinsky very late on the brakes and perfectly taken to get past Kurt Rochav into the Parabolica. He will have the slipstream ahead, but less powerful than what Rochav will be getting from him. So he can still fight back into turn 1, and that's exactly what he's going to try and do. But Stravinsky will have that slipstream from Thomas Harvey ahead. Rochav will have to be very late onto the brakes if he wants to do anything here, and he seems to be a bit too late onto the brakes. There was almost contact, but there was none. Svilo actually is able to profit off of that alongside and slightly past Rochav as we head towards the Della Rocha chicane. On the outside of the big curve is Christos Svilo. There's a bit of contact as Svilo tries to come onto the inside of the circuit and now has the inside into the Della Rocha to go a bit deep, but manages to keep it within the white lines. Rochav dropped down to 8.
Yeah, Rochav has lost a lot of time and positions in this particular one, and that's a shame for him. But further in front, Micah then is now 1.7 back of Magnussen. It doesn't look like he's going to catch him.
Yeah, but like we're seeing, there's still opportunity for mistakes as that gravel is very close to the edges of the circuit. And I'm not saying Magnussen's a particularly mistake-prone driver, but it definitely can happen. Loic Meunier, however, has kept a similar gap to Micah for the last lap as we had a yellow in Sector 3. I think now would be an interesting time to see some of the replays. I'd like to see especially a replay of the incident between Lopez and Meunier to see whether there was space available on the inside there.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not sure from the camera angle we were looking at, but it certainly looked like Lopez had to bounce across the inside curb and across the grass. Let's have a look on board if we can from Julio Lopez's car, because as they came in, I don't know. It's hard. That's the angle we saw it live. And of course, Lopez into the inside wall, losing his front wing, puts him out of contention. Let's have a look on board. Driver cam. Now, not driver cam. Press home, Remco. Oh, no, not enough. Not enough, unfortunately. In my opinion, that's on Meunier. So that's a shame. Here's one from Josh Dexter. And
he was 15th, and I think we're about to see a replay of exactly what happened to Lopez.
That is very interesting what's happened there. Oh, no, don't reverse there. Crikey. Oh, not ideal. Well done, Josh Dexter, for waiting patiently. And here is Jörn Dix. All happening at Ascari. And he is going to...
Wall? Yes. That is a wall. That is unfortunate for Jörn Dix. It's a very easy mistake to do as well. That gravel is right up to the line on the track.
Right, so live action then. Magnussen is 1.4 clear of Mateusz Micah. These two fighting over the championship lead, and they have been the class of the field this season. Magnussen looking to extend that lead from Micah if he can help it. They are, between them, they have 29 points between them. So it's a fairly sizable gap that Magnussen has right now, but of course, another couple of DNFs like what happened to him at Belgium would certainly tighten things up. Here's Kurt Rotiov on the outside of Christos Svilo, who backs it into the first corner and just about avoids contact. That was great driving and car control from Svilo. Rotiov holding on to that position for now. They're not that far away still from Travinski. There's some nonsense going on further back. as we see Haza and Sandek battling away. Oh, bit of contact behind them. That looks like, is that Karatko involved? It's Karatko, yes, and on the inside of him is Johannes Lepit. Behind them, of course, is Yunus Karala, who lost a lot of positions earlier on and is trying to make it 2 wide, and in fact they're going to go 3 wide. Oh, Karatko, no room there. Gillette, by the way, who had that. Wow.
Yeah, Karala just got hit by Karatko there and pushed into the gravel. Fortunately, Karatko went off, so I don't think that Karala lost much more than time there, fortunately for him, but I think that was a bit of a silly mistake to make nonetheless. Micah 1.4.
Yeah, it's unfortunately he's just outside the kind of slipstream. He's like major benefit. Well, he's got it down to 1.3 now. So a couple more laps of slipstreaming, he might start seeing some effects. But they've only got 3 laps to go. He's really good couple of chicanes here, Micah, and a good couple of Lesmos. Getting that slipstream, and then it can happen. But for now, and it looked like he missed the apex there, so that gap's going to extend slightly. Behind them, Harvey. Whoa! Chavinsky was very close to steaming into the back of Thomas Harvey there. That looked very close indeed. But yeah, Micah has a couple of laps to get close. I don't know if he's going to be able to do it.
No, I would say it could be possible, provided Magnussen makes a major mistake here. Of course, Micah has that 2 temps before he gets into the ideal slipstream range, but that 2 temps has been fluctuating throughout the lap for the past couple of laps. Really, it's gone from 0.5 to 0.2 to 0.1, as we're actually getting 0.1 right here. Magnussen might have made a bit of an error in the Lesmos, but I don't think we're going to be seeing a battle here unless a mistake is made.
Well,
and
yeah, but you say that it's 1.1 now. I know it fluctuates through the corners a little bit, but it was down to 1.1. That is within the kind of area of slipstream. Starts to be noticeable around there. 1 second's ideal, as there's a yellow flag in sector 2. Hopefully nothing too serious. Oh, Florian Hauser's flawling through the pack there. So something's happened to Florian. Flawling through the pack, Florian is. Yes, unfortunately I got my Florians and my falling confused.
And your floor.
Yes, and my floor.
Yes.
But yeah, Thomas Harvey here, still trying to work on the back of Tuamala. He, like Mounier, doesn't seem to have the most amazing race pace, considering they were 1-2 in practice. A bit more of a sort of a qualifying setup, I'd imagine, in those machines.
They are 3rd and 4th, so it is.
Yeah, it's relative.
Going
it's
quite well.
Yeah, it's all relative, isn't it? I mean, Mounier was absolutely the class of the field just a couple of rounds ago, wasn't he? Where is Mounier? Yes, it was Canada. He won both races at Canada, for example. So I'm talking relative more than anything. In fact, Mounier's results this season in Formula Sprint 2 have been first, and DNF.
Well, maybe he needs a DNF to keep that record unscathed.
Just throwing shade at Loic Mounier there.
No. I'm not saying he should DNF and go and crash into a wall. That is not what I'm saying at all. As Micah
is definitely yeah. This I was just gonna say. It's now on. It's definitely on. They've only got 1 lap left, unfortunately for Matouche. But you can see that Patrick are trying to shade that slipstream. He's got great straight line, as you say. Patrick Magnussen definitely got more straight line than Micah has, but perhaps Micah has the better tyre at this point. He looks like he's gained a fraction through the final corner. I do know certainly in Superlight Super League cars, you don't run minimum downforce at Monza, which sounds weird, but well, certainly it seems that a couple of clicks on the rear wing actually is better lap time wise. I wonder if Micah has done much the same thing in Formula Sprint 2. I'm not 100% sure it carries over from how the mods are made and all the rest of it, but here's Rotiav then still battling away with Kouristas Philo, and behind them Patterson in P9. is ahead of Ockenhaug's for that battle for bronze medal that Magnus was talking about earlier on. And side by side goes Philo and Rotiav, and side by side also Patterson is with. He's been in fact overtaken by Brody Lawless, who is in P9. Where did that come from? Micah only 5/10 back of Magnussen. I don't think it's going to be enough as they head into that final sector, and indeed, here they come. And Micah is going to throw everything at Ascari, I'm sure, using all of the track. They're both a bit wide through the second part, and unfortunately, Micah, I don't think is going to be close enough for him. But Patrick Magnussen only has one corner to navigate to take another victory in Formula Sprint 2 2024. He's just got to hit his marks, get the car into the apex, and he has done so. No major slides or anything silly, and he should take another victory, Alex. And what a win this has been for Patrick Magnussen for KV86. He crosses the line now and wins.
Yeah, beats Micah. A great chase at the end there to get that 1.3 second gap, but I think it was too much too late or too little too late really for Micah. He did seem to be pushing quite a bit as we're watching the battle for P10, which is claimed by Brody Lawless. Patterson got ahead of him at the end. Mese Sandak in the Academy car does take points finish, 14th from a relatively miserable start in qualifying. I think he was something like 29th, so great race from the Academy driver there.
Yeah, absolutely. And Joe Gillette, by the way, with a drive-through penalty at the start of the race, and he has finished. What is he doing?
Serving that drive-through penalty. Which you
oh, sorry. No, but didn't he have it at the start of the race?
Yeah, I have no idea. I'm just looking at that quote on the halo there. It seems like a bit of a shade throw at commentary, really.
Well, it is a commentary quote, I believe. It's about commentary. Those that can do, those that can't talk about it. It's a commentary quote.
Okay. Right, I see.
I don't know who by. I assume Headhunter or
someone. The other one.
I'm just going to throw that out there. That's going to be a thing now. Patrick Magnussen wins for KV86. Micah P2. Luc Mounier taking that bronze medal for Apex Grand Prix. Thomas Harvey behind him in fourth. Tuomala fifth. Chavinsky, Svilo, Rotiav, Patterson, and Lawless running out the top 10. Lawless in prime position for a reverse grid. Ockenhaug, Hayek, Tuomela, Sandak, and Kanda rounding out the points, and any one of them also could be in the reverse grid positions. Johannes Leppert misses out. Jonas Korala as well. Tamir Karatko, Tice Youngstra, and Joe Gillette in P20. Behind them, James Knox, Mike Bell, Bjorn Golder, and Kasper Koritz, the final finishers. DNFs for Vakuinov, Haza, Dexter, Kauper, Lopez, Dix, and Vicentievich, and Machier. Piège. I hope that's how you say that.
That's how I've been saying it, and I haven't been shouted for yet, so...
Well, I don't know if we always get shouted at for our mistakes. We sometimes do.
I did get shouted at it for saying it wrong when I commentated Academy in Silverstone, and the way I've been corrected was it was PS, so I hope that's right. Otherwise, I'm going to self-combust.
Piège?
Piège? Piège? I don't
know.
Maybe we have to go and watch the chat replay for Academy Silverstone. Or you could just go watch the race after this. Don't go yet. We're not finished yet.
Don't go yet! Well, he's Polish, right? So, Machier, I'm sure, is right. But it's Piège or Piège. It's what I want to find out. I'm not going to ask Remco. He won't know. Remco, do you know? No clue, dude, in my ears. I can ask Remco about the Dutch names, but I'm pretty good at them, to be fair. Yeah, so I'm a natural. Oh, wow. Careful. My head will explode. I mean, I can do a bit of German. That's That's easy peasy, and a lot of Dutch names are Germanic-y. It's all the same language originally. 800 years ago it was. High German is the source of many languages, including sort of, well, obviously German, you've got Dutch, Danish is pretty Germany. I think Norwegian as well, if I'm not mistaken, is a little bit Germanic. Anyway, that's a conversation for another day, I suppose. And of course English has half of it's German, half of it's French, and half of it's Latin. Make that fit. And some of it's Celtic. Is the session going to move so I can stop talking about languages?
I mean, we could talk about the nice art at Final Corner.
Remco's hoping for a break. He's sadly mistaken. In Formula Sprint 2, we talk absolute nonsense in the warm-ups, and it's fantastic. Yep. That's all right. Stick it on the interview screen, Remco. You don't have to worry about the ugly screen.
We're interviewing ourselves.
Yeah. Alex, talk us through that race one. How did it go?
So we had a lot of crashes on the first lap. We saw 2 cars out, Vazendevic and Messier PS. Magnussen won.
He did.
It was race 1. He won in race 1. Won in... That's a throwback, isn't it?
One. Would one want to win? One?
His number 1 title by winning once in 1 point.
I don't know how Montoya didn't leave immediately, by the way, from that. If you don't know what we're talking about, it's a very famous, I would say 2002 Australian Grand Prix press conference, and there was a comedian who asked a question to Juan Montoya just like that. Poor guy.
Great comedy for the rest of us, though.
It became an absolute meme for years.
Still is, but not many people know about it anymore.
If drunk daddy Germany and mummy France really love each other, you get English, according to Vincent Gutt. Very brave from Vincent saying that.
Wow.
English is the language of the world, my friend. Spoken mostly by Americans, sadly. Or at least in an American way, which is very disappointing.
Right. Yep.
It is. Because they butcher our language. Absolute nonsense. Why does colour have no U in it in America? It's a French word. Leave the U in.
They don't care about where it came from. They care about the spelling being easy.
What, easy for what? It's a 6-letter word. Like, it's not like it's, discombobulate or something, is it?
You didn't even say it right, so...
Discombobulate.
You said bombulate.
I did not.
Yes, you did. I
did not.
You can watch the stream.
I did not.
You watched the stream.
Remco said I did. Discombobulate. When you Can we go back to the action?
Is there action? Are we watching cars?
Has it changed?
No.
Oh, what's going on with the server? Bless Chris's little heart. I hope it's okay. Discombobulate, by the way, means to confuse someone. It's semi-ironic. Semi-ironic. The Google the Google example is this attitude totally discombobulated Bruce. Why Bruce?
Who's Bruce?
I know. There's also a song
Bruce,
by There's also a song by Hans Zimmer called Discombobulate from the Sherlock Holmes soundtrack. Learned something new today.
That I will immediately forget.
I know, it's not the sort of thing that you never, ever remember. Oh, hello. Back
We're allowed.
to the action. Whoa.
Amazing.
Excellent. if you had forgotten, we're at Monza for Formula Sprint 2. We do now have another race, and the reverse grid is in place for race 2. Anyone who finished between P10 and P15 could be in that reverse grid hat, if you like, and their name will be drawn out.
Yep.
And then the grid will be fully reversed from that position downwards. So
We're opening betting for which position.
Well, it'll be P10, won't it? So.
Well, the odds are biased for P10, so it's like a 1-2 odds for P10.
It's been so often P10, I swear.
Yeah.
But there we go. Acarius in the chat, I don't actually know who that is, says, I don't like English.
That is Yuo Yun.
Oh, hello. Thank you.
Yes.
I have to say, I don't know. Is he Korean?
I would assume so with that name.
Korean but lives in America. You're learning English in the wrong country, my friend. English is not spoken in America. That's my view. I'm sticking to it.
American and speaking in America.
They should call it American, honestly. It's like Afrikaans in South Africa is not Dutch.
You'll never believe it. It's P10 reverse grid.
Boom! Who was P10?
Lawless. Brody Lawless.
Brody Lawless. Hello. This is going to be a fun one. I like Brody. He has been known to be involved in an instant auto in the past. Let's see if he can hold on to that P1. I shall not be biased. That's my bias over. But that is fun. Vincent's just listing words that are difficult to spell now in the YouTube chat. I'm just going to point you to... Naturwissenschaften, which is the word for science in German. What's the word for box of matches in German? It's a Schachtelscheichholzer.
You can't bring up compound words as an excuse.
Streichholzschechtelken is a box of matches.
Well, at least it's not as bad as French numbers.
Yes, we've all seen those videos on like Insta Reels.
French numbers are something else.
80 in French is quatre vingt, which means obviously 420s.
Instead of having a word for 80, you know.
Can someone who is French in the chat explain why that is? That'd be very interesting to find out. I'd love to know.
I think it's
I
just
hope you're not. By the way, can
right.
I just say, I hope you're not watching this like back in 3 years' time because you won't have a clue what's going on. If this goes into the YouTube repository for GPVWC broadcasts, which is a fantastic place to watch old races, by the way, please do subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. To make sure you are up to date with the latest GPVWC goings on, but you do also have the opportunity to watch pretty much any broadcast that has been in existence. It started with highlights back in, I want to say, 2009-ish, and it's been live for quite a few years now, and fantastic races on there, some very memorable events. And it's nice to see some of the old names and some people that you will see their careers develop as well. You know, we've had all sorts of exciting drivers in GPVWC over the years. Of course, Agustin Canapino, probably one of our best exports. He was in Super League till just a couple of seasons ago and has been plying his trade in IndyCar. Sadly lost his seat to Connor Daly at the moment in IndyCar, but he... in fact, was my teammate in Super League. And wow, what's going on here? Okay.
That explosion. Interesting. That's a lot of car parts. I wonder how much money GPVWC goes through each year paying for these cars.
Should it be real life, you mean?
Should it? Yeah, should we have to replace all the parts at once?
Vincent, can you break down Streichholz Schechtelken for us into individual words? As you say, compound words, Alex. I mean, we just have the word matches. And this is, but the reason it's interesting though is because Vincent points out German and French and Latin are in our language, which means we don't have to have many compound words. We don't have to say the stick thing that lights on fire when you strike it. We have a word for it. It matches. Do you see what I'm saying? Because we have such a varied language, we can pull from all different things. The French word for, you've got bœuf, for example, and the German is cow, Kuh. And we have both those words in our language. One for the thing you eat and one for the thing that moves.
Well, one was from the Normans who came over in 1066. They were like beef or beef.
Yep.
And then we just named the animal cow before that.
I'll tell you something else interesting. A lot of the words for the thing you eat are French, and a lot of the words for the things that makes the thing you eat is German sounding Anglo-Saxon. And the reason for that is, of course, the people in the sort of upper classes spoke French a lot in the UK, almost up till about 16th century, 16th century. They all spoke French, and then the lower classes spoke the English or Anglo-Saxon, Germanic-sounding languages, and they were the ones that grew the thing that the rich people ate, which is why beef is the French word and cow is the German-sounding word. Hope that's interesting for you as well.
There you go. Entomology lesson.
Yes, not etymology or entomology.
Yep. You know.
One is the study of insects, I believe.
Something like that.
Yeah, entomology is the study of insects, etymology the study of words. I love warm-ups in Formula Sprint 2.
We do talk a lot of random stuff.
I know, but it's
fun. And that is the best part. Yeah.
This is our time for a little bit of a podcast, then we get back to the racing. It's fun. We could start a podcast, Alex.
We should. What would we call it?
Well, that's the problem. What do we talk about?
Yeah.
Like, literally anything happens, doesn't it?
We could just go off on tangent do here. That always works.
Yeah, there's a market for that. Tangent podcasts are a thing. People listen to them as they go into sleep, don't they? And then wake up and they're talking about, the science behind grasshoppers, and you have no idea how you got there.
Maybe we should talk about the science behind grasshoppers.
Grasshoppers. Just leave it.
Yep. It's a long minute. Formation lap time.
Formation lap time.
By
the way, if anyone hasn't seen already, I took a photo of my cat in front of the screen.
Yep, it is very cute. You should go and look at it.
Her name is Daisy. She's very little.
Very, very small.
Very small.
Just a little girl.
Just a little girl. I'll take a video if I can of her just being in the way, because it was that all the way through, basically. Right. Formation lap is about to begin. Brodie Lawless leads us away, and he is on pole position with Craig Patterson in the red Williams liveried Priority 1 Esports car alongside him. Kurt Rotiav P3 with 4th place Krista Svilo. 5th place Philip Javinsky with Mikhail Tuamala, Thomas Tarvey and Loic Mounier behind them on row 4. Row 5, Batu Schmeicher and race 1 winner Patrick Magnussen for KB86. The first of the non-reverse grids is Magnus Ockenhaug and Dan Hayek on row 6. 7th row is Noah Tuamela and Maciej Sandak. Got it right this time. Shimon Kanda and Johannes Lepit behind them on row 8. Row 9, Yunus Karala and Damir Karatko with Thijs Jongstra and James Knox 19th and 20th. Row 11 is Mike Bell and Bjorn Golder, Smile Power teammates with Kasper Koritz, Joe Gillette 23rd and 24th. 25th, Florian Haase, Babi Bakuinov, Josh Dexter and Nick Kauper in 28th. 29th? Julio Lopez with Jon Dix in 30th. And Mihailo Vicentievich and Maciej Pierz in 32nd.
Well, they're both sharing 32nd, aren't they?
What happened to my voice? I'm only 33.
You're a late bloomer, it's fine.
Brody Lawless ran the Parabolica on the formation lap. He is going to be P1, which for him will be his best start, I think, in Formula Sprint 2.
Oh, you can't get better, so...
Okay, I should rephrase. It's the first time he's been on pole in Formula Sprint 2. Craig Patterson alongside him, Kurt Rotiav, and Svilo Road 2. It's once again going to be about who gets the best getaways behind, further back. I mean, I don't think you want to warm your tyres, really. It's all about...
Kind of useless.
Yeah, it's all about keeping the pressures low, I understand. Anyway, the red lights will go on. When we have 5 of them, they will pause, and then they will be turned off, and we'll be underway. Lawless on the right, Patterson on the left. 5 lights are on. And now they're not. Lawless gets away very well this time compared to the race 1 pole sitter, which was Magnussen, and indeed he will take the lead as they head down towards the first chicane. Patterson's not completely out of it, but he's not going to be able to get alongside, is he? Just about does. Oh, Rotiav, I think. Is it Rotiav or who's been spun round? One of them's been spun round. It's Svilo that's been spun round. Rotiav holds on to 3rd place. But there was contact there at the first part of the chicane between those two. Lawless still leads then, and there's a bit of a gap opening up, but Patterson is trying to get through. There's no room there, and Lawless leads them through the Della Roggia chicane for the very first time.
Yeah, not a great start for Patrick Magnussen. He had a good run off the line, but then got caught up with the incident at turn 1 with Svilo going off, and that sent him back a couple of places. He's down in P14. But not as bad a story for his teammate Noah Tuamela, who's been able to get past both. Didn't get past Loic Meunier. A great start for Micah as well. He was P9 at the start. He's now up to P5. So all around, good starts for the front runners of last race. And Micah is in a great position here as Savinsky goes a bit wide in Ascari, who might be about to see a free wide to Optiminals. Making a Scuderia Freccianera sandwich, but the filling seems to have escaped for now to the inside of Parabolica. They're going to go free wide. Thomas Harvey on the outside. Sorry, Loic Meunier, who's trying to get back at Mateusz Micah, drops down to P10. So we've got a lot of cars in a clump here, all fighting for the higher up positions. I think all the way up to P5.
Whilst you were poetically describing a car sandwich, I did notice that Patrick Magnussen is P13, so has indeed lost some positions as Patterson makes a move for the lead through the first chicane and sneaks through on the outside on the exit, and Brody Lawless does drop back. I've got my money on Kurt Rotiav for this one, by the way. He looks very competitive in these opening laps. Lawless, still in the slipstream of Patterson, will fancy his chances as they head down to the second chicane, and he has got just not quite enough momentum to make a move on the inside. Rotiav a little squirrely under braking. That's going to give Thomas Harvey an opportunity as they head into the first Lesmo on lap 2. Harvey on the inside. He thinks better of it. Further back, there's Tuamala, I think, alongside Sandak as they head towards Lesmo 1. Let's see if that one shakes itself out. That's Tuamela. I meant Tuamala, and I was describing Tuamala, but Tuamela in P7. There's Tuamala. I was thinking of the Cap Clay driver, I swear. But further back, yeah, Magnussen, not a great start, but he's made up a couple positions now into 11th, but he's a long way back from his championship rival, time-wise, of Mateusz Micah.
Yeah, but there's the only thing separating him and Micah is cars, and with cars you get slipstream as well, so he's going to be able to catch up quite handily, provided he can get past the drivers he needs to on the straight. This is Micah on the back of Thomas Harvey. Micah also looks very competitive here, with a chance to take the race win. He looked quite good in race 1, but just didn't have the straight line speed to make moves on Magnussen. Yeah, sorry, I almost said Pagnussen. That would have been embarrassing, considering I make fun of you. And yeah, like we see.
Oh, Harvey.
Micah. Harvey to the inside, tries around the outside in turn 2 on Kurt Rotiav and gets it done. Tuamela, I think, was trying to attack Ockenhaug as well. But yeah, Micah doesn't have the straight line speed advantage that he needs to get past these cars. This is Tuamela fighting with Philip Savinsky, trying to fight past him. And he's actually made it past both Magnussen and Savinsky. Tries to the inside in De La Rocha, but doesn't get it done. Tuamala gets past Magnus Ockenhaug, and there's a bit of contact further back, or someone jumped over the curb. And I believe that is Dan Hayek.
Yeah, the advantage Micah has, though, and you were describing the gap between Magnussen and Micah being just cars. The problem that they have is that this front five are in a nice little slipstreaming train as they head around the Monza track, and Micah indeed does take that position from Rotiav. I do think Micah is running a little bit extra wing compared to some of the other drivers based on his straight line performance, and also because he's setting, I mean, he currently has the fastest lap in this race of a 39.7, which makes sense because I think I'm understanding, based on some of the work we've done for Super League, that you do want to run slightly more downforce than minimum in this year's races, because you get a little bit extra lap time out of it, and it looks after the tyres. And we did see Micah indeed did come back at Magnussen towards the end of race 1, and Rotiav, look how powerful that slipstream is from the 3 cars in front of Rotiav, because he was not able to make that work, as Tuamela and Magnus Ockenhaug, who's doing a great rear gunning display for his teammate at Optiminal, keeping this little gaggle of cars behind him so far, because we saw Tuamela make that move, and now they're going to go side by side down towards the De La Rocha, and down the inside Ockenhaug just holds on to Tuamela, and now we got Tuamela. Oh no, I don't like it. Oh, okay, he's just about got away with it, but Ockenhaug's lost his front wing. It was almost like they were kind of stuck to one another, and Ockenhaug was pushed into the outside wall on the exit of the De La Rocha, and unfortunately for him, he will have to change his front wing or give that one up. And if I was him, I don't think I'd bother, unfortunately for him. And Ockenhaug has dropped all the way out of the points as a result. I'd love to see that one again, but I do think that potentially Tuamela, I believe it was Tuamela, just made contact and sucked the car of Ockenhaug into the wall.
Yeah, that's an interesting one that I'd probably like to look at on a replay, because it just didn't seem entirely right what was happening there from both driving perspectives. So, yeah, I think that's a consequence of the game being the game, as Micah on the back of Thomas Harvey now. And I wouldn't expect that much as a fight as Lawless moves across to try and break the slipstream of Harvey. And yeah, it means Harvey cut across Micah there to try and get and stay in that slipstream and not allow Micah to get ahead of him. And I think that's going to be the story of this battle at the front, where it's just going to be fighting for that slipstream. Thomas Harvey moves to the inside of the track, and we might be about to go free wide into De La Rocha. Someone's going to have to back out, and it is Micah who backs out.
Oh, Micah, look at this!
Go around the outside.
Yeah, and Harvey gave him room as well, but it's going to compromise Micah's exit, and here comes Rotiav down the inside there, just allowing Patterson to run away with this one by squabbling, and Micah's been run out of road by Rotiav. I think Rotiav was probably entitled to do so. It looked like he was far enough ahead. A bit of a yellow flag in Sector 2 as well. We've got some cars dropping further back, I believe, but couldn't quite see who that was. Yeah, Rotiav taking advantage of that one. So we head towards Ascari on lap 5, but Patterson has a 2.6 second gap. If these guys didn't squabble so much, you know, they could work together and catch Patterson, but especially because Patterson, as decent a driver as he is, didn't seem to have the pace of the front runners in race 1, and indeed his best lap of 40.7, about a second off what the fastest lap of Micah's currently is. So yeah, their squabbling is delaying them somewhat. Yeah, but it's not allowing Magnussen to catch up to them as well, because Magnussen's stuck in that train of cars behind him, and Micah's still stuck in this train of cars as well. Thomas Harvey tries to get past Brody Lawless and manages to get it done in the first. Oh, there's contact between Brody Lawless and Thomas Harvey. Thomas Harvey spun round. Lawless lost himself in the braking zone there. Micah moves up to second. Craig Patterson
now has 2.5 seconds to maintain for 7 laps, provided that Micah remains unchallenged in second here. He does have Rochab to be concerned with, but yeah, I think now Patterson just has to try and run away with it, and that is just... it's an interesting
Well,
I will say it.
It's very simple. Lawless just brake too late in the dirty air, in the slipstream of Harvey. We've seen that before at Hockenheim as well. It's seemingly quite an easy mistake to make in these cars, as this is the Ockenhaug Tuamela one. Yeah, that's... If you're Ockenhaug, you'll be very disappointed to be smashed into the barrier from there. Let's see what happened on board with Tuamela. What's he doing?
What?
Why has he turned straight right into Ockenhaug? Can you just watch? Can we watch that one more time, please?
That doesn't look like it was an imp, though. That's the thing.
It did to me. It definitely did to me. What's that about? Can you go back on board with someone behind Tuamela? That's an input. 100% that's an input. And if he's deliberately spun Ockenhaug, that's embarrassingly poor. And I like Tuamela, but that looks deliberate to me. I don't think Remco's going to be able to cue that for us. Can you go to the car behind, or no?
No.
Okay. Yeah, no, that looks 100% deliberate to me. I'm sorry to say, there's no reason whatsoever for Tuamela to turn hard right into Ockenhaug there. And if that's the case, that's really, really poor. I'm calling it as I see it. I shouldn't really be doing that and being judge and jury during a race, but that's what I'm looking at. Anyway, Kurt Rotsiav and Micah are separated by only 6/10. Not that much at all. And certainly Micah will have his mirrors full of Rotsiav. The last lap time, by the way, between the leaders was 7/10 in Micah's favour. So Patterson is going to have his hands full at some point this race. And yeah, that's going to close up, in my opinion, towards the end of the race. So Rotsiav and Micah will fancy their chances at a race win here. And Patrick Magnussen in that background there, he's in that second group of cars, if you like. So he will be hoping he can make his way steadily through this pack. But it is full of decent drivers. We've got Mounier, Tuamala and Thomas Harvey. None of them are slouches by any stretch of the imagination. So he's going to have his work cut out. But it's not... I mean, it's been a pretty decent round for Magnussen so far, hasn't it? In terms of championship, points.
Yeah, but as it stands, Micah still catches up to him by a wide margin unless Magnussen's able to improve on P8 at the minute. That's going to be roughly a 10-point gain for Micah across the weekend, especially if Micah's able to catch up for the lead, which it looks like he's going to be able to do. He's within a second already of Craig Patterson. We've got a bit of a squabble going on here as Mounier gets past Tuamala, and Magnussen looks to the inside of Tuamala as well. He seems to get squeezed on the inside of De La Rocha there, but is able to make the move nonetheless. Mounier gets past Thomas Harvey. A bit of a switch for the Apex Grand Prix cars, and I think that was just Harvey letting Mounier pass, try and get that gap going. But Magnussen's pushing quite a bit to try and catch up to these two cars ahead.
Yeah, he is, and I don't blame him, frankly, where he started. Let's have a look at another replay. This is Noah Tuamela that we're watching now, who is, in my opinion, his head has completely fallen off in this race. And he was already, presumably, pit lane bound, or one way or the other, but that's him just driving off the track in Parabolica. The less we see of him for the remainder of the race, the better, from my point of view. Unfortunately, I think what he did, if we're reading it right, which I believe we are, it's a complete disgrace, in my opinion.
Well, we'll cut to the brighter side of the racing. Micah right on the back of Craig Patterson, 6/10 between the leading car and the trailing car. And Micah's closing that gap rapidly and steadily across the last couple of laps. So 4 laps to go for Micah to get past Patterson and defend it. And that gap is rapidly decreasing now as he gets into the slipstream, into Della Roja. I don't think we'll be seeing a move here, but definitely into the first corner or even into Parabolica.
Yeah, and it didn't take more than a couple of laps for them to catch up to Patterson, did it? Which is, for Patterson's point of view, a bit of a shame. But as I said, he just does not have... Look at the amount the dirty air affects, though, through the Lesmos. It's pretty wild, actually, isn't it? Look at the gap that Patterson's able to open out. That's the only thing that can save him in this race, is the dirty air through the Lesmos and Ascari, in my opinion. But the Parabolica has multiple lines you can use to get a good exit onto the start-finish straight. And I think if Mike is sensible, he will do it there, as opposed to trying into the Parabolica. Rotiav has not gone with Micah either, has he? Micah's really setting the pace in this race. He's done the fastest lap, the only person in the 39s, and his last lap was a 40.2. Leaders, as in Patterson and Rotiav, 40.9 and 40.8. So 7/10 to the better, and he's got a really good exit out of Parabolica. Will slipstream Patterson down towards turn 1 if Craig uses his brain, which he has a decent one from the racing point of view. He will let this one go and fight for P2. Patterson slots in behind Micah. Micah takes the lead of the race, and I believe will shoot off into the distance from there.
Yeah, I think Patterson's just going to try and stick with Micah for as long as possible to keep that slipstream advantage in order to keep him ahead of Kurt Rochov. We still have these 2 Apex Grand Prix battling away, trying to catch up to Brody Lawless. They've swapped positions recently. Patterson still fighting at Micah here, actually, as he's getting that slipstream over speed and fighting wherever he can. Try and get back up into that first position. There's still a chance for Craig Patterson, but it seems like he's just going to get washed away by the slipstream and the dirty air. But Rochav is now sort of in that bracket to be getting the slipstream off of Craig Patterson as well.
Yeah, I think Rochav will fancy his chances at P2 for sure here. Patterson will be hoping to hold on to a podium place. He's got 3 more laps to navigate to do so. And he's being pulled along, I should say, nicely by Micah. This has been a tidy lap from Patterson, actually. And he'll be close enough, if he has a good Parabolica, to have a really good slipstream down the start-finish straight as well. Micah up 8 positions, by the way, from his grid slot, which is pretty... I mean, that's how you get far in the championship in Formula Sprint 2, to be fair. You've got to get those race 2 results right as well. So very well winning race 1, but if you have DNFs and P15s and contact and stuff, it just doesn't work. So it's all about that reverse grid position as well, as Thomas Harvey and Brody Lawless swap positions, and through down the inside goes Mounier as well. And the Apex cars taking both taking Lawless in that one section of track. And Patterson is 3/10 back of Micah as they head towards the Della Rocha. In fact, that gap closing, but Patterson not making the move under brakes. Here's Tuomala facing Patrick Magnusson round the outside. Wow, Patrick! Taking quite a bit of curb.
I don't think that was the optimal line, I'll be completely honest with you, but it seems to have distracted Tuomala enough that he's fallen off a little bit off the back of Magnusson, and it's given him a bit of leeway for Magnusson to go and try and catch up to Lawless, who I believe might be getting a penalty anyway for outbraking himself into the first corner. Of course, that is if it is reported by Thomas Harvey. Those Apex Grand Prix cars looking very nicely bunched up in 4th and 5th, seeing an overall consistent performance from that team, actually, who had a decent race 1 in similar positions that they are now. Micah leads. Patterson still there behind Micah, actually, as we cut to him. And they're going onto the main straight. Patterson will have a nice bit of slipstream along here, and potentially a chance to fight back for the lead.
Yeah, and, well, I mean, I don't know if he will, but he's certainly sticking around in Micah's slipstream, isn't he? It shows how much the slipstream is important here at Monza. camber, it says on the back of the car of Micah. But Patterson is still there, as you say. It's not completely over, but Micah seems to be just about able to hang on in the traction zones, isn't he? And Patterson not able to claw all of that back by the time they get to the braking zone of the next corner. Here's Magnussen fighting with Brody Lawless, our pole sitter, courtesy of that P10 reverse grid. And Magnussen up to P6. I think that'll be all he gets, barring any nonsense in front of him. And that's pretty decent. A race win and P6. That's how you build a championship run. It's Philo here fighting away with Joe Gillette, who must be gutted to have jumped the start in race 1. He had great pace overall. And had that mystery pit stop on the last lap, which I don't understand, but I'm sure that will become evidence as we look at the post-race comments. But Gillette fighting away here with Philo for the final point.
Yeah, and Gillette, a good recovery drive for him to get up to this point, obviously. But we haven't talked much about his teammate, who's up in P10 and fighting away for P9 with Philip Savinsky. 6 attempts between them along the straight, now 7. But yeah, Karatko on for a decent position at the end of the race as we're heading onto the last lap. Craig Patterson is 4 attempts behind Micah, and they'll be battling right to the end. Actually, Patterson might have a go here into turn 1. Micah closes the inside. Patterson tries for the outside, but might just have to try and get the better exit as we head towards De La Roja.
Oh, this will be...
looks like Patterson has.
I'm sorry, Craig was just so close to getting a good exit and then got a tiny bit of wheel spin on the curb. Just dropped that, 5-6 tenths back. He's clawing it back towards De La Roja, but he's not going to be close enough, I don't think. And then the dirty air in Lesmo 1 and 2 means that this is probably his last opportunity unless Micah makes a mistake. But Micah, wise to that particular one, holds on. And then watch the gap now. So it was 3 tenths heading into Lesmo 1. The exit at Lesmo 2 I expected to be more like 6 or 7. Micah does have more downforce as well, I believe. It's only 5 tenths. He's still there, Patterson. This is not all over as they head towards Ascari. And there is a lapped car in front of them, or about to be lapped, of one of the Smile Power cars, I think that is.
Bjorn Golda.
Bjorn Golda, indeed. And through Ascari they go for the final time. Patterson, not a good exit, unfortunately for him. It looks like Micah's going to take the victory, Alex.
Yeah, but it's close to the end, like it was in lap 1, helped by that slipstream right to the end. Patterson trying to fight Micah, but it seems all in vain now. Through the final corner and getting washed out by the dirty air even more is Craig Patterson, but it will be a win for Optimal and Mateusz Micah. Craig Patterson comes home second. Kurt Rojov is able to get third, and then, right at the end, Magnussen got past Loic Mounier, I think.
How did that happen? We didn't see any evidence that was going to happen on the last lap whatsoever. There was a 5-tenth gap or so as they headed towards the final corner. Did Mounier let him through, do you think? Or run out of fuel, potentially?
There's always a chance of that. Okay. Maybe it was fine. Maybe it was fine.
I'm glad we cut away from it, I'll tell you that much. Mounier seems to have enough fuel to be doing some of the post-race stuff. But,
there's a wheel.
Yeah. But Micah wins, Patterson P2 and Rotiav P3. And those 3 will be happy with their race 2, I'm sure.
Yeah, great performance from Micah. Started P9 or P8, I can't remember, but does take the win in race 2, followed closely behind Craig Patterson in second. Kurt Rojov, the last of the podium finishers. Thomas Harvey is 4th. Patrick Magnussen right at the end clutches P5 from Loic Mounier in P6. Michael Tuamala 7th for Brody Lawless. 8th. 9th is Philip Savinsky, and 10th is Damir Kratko. A great race for him. P11 is Messier Sandak, another good performance from him, getting off of that great race 1 that he had. Junio Lopez, after an almost heartbreaking race 1, moves up to P12 in race 2. Bobby Vakanov 13th with Simon Kanda in 14th, and last of the points finishers is Joe Gillette. Christos Philo is 16th with Kasper Kuritz, Johannes Lepit Mike Bell and Florian Haase rounding out the top 20. 21st is Dan Hayek with Jörn Dix behind him. Jonas Kerala lines 23rd with Messier Pies in 24th. Thijs Jongstra is 25th. Nick Halper is 26th. The other Optiminal finishes 27th with Björn Golder behind him last of the race finishers. Mihailo Vizandjevic, Noah Tuomela, Magnus Ockenhaug, and James Knock will retire from the race. Ockenhaug did finish the race, sorry, but James Knox and Dexter did not, and that is the last of our qualification for...
Loic Mounier did lift off to let Patrick and Magnussen through. Don't know why. Don't think we saw any contact between those that would warrant that necessarily, from my memory. So, interesting shenanigans going on there. We'll have to delve into that.
It just started raining, I've just noticed. That was lucky.
Right, interview time. Por favor. Bitte schön. Per favore, I should be saying, shouldn't I, in Italian?
Doesn't make a difference to me. I don't know Italian.
What is it in... What is it in... Squala Candar in Welsh. There we go. Right, let's bring in Craig Patterson. Here is Craig Patterson. How are you, my friend?
Sweating like a pig. Apart from that, I'm good. How's everyone?
Oh, yeah, not too bad, thank you, mate. Lovely livery once again.
Thank you very much.
We do appreciate the throwback liveries. Well, I certainly do.
I know you do. That's what I do it just for you, mate.
Oh, thanks. Obviously, great shout for a win in race 2. Just felt like you didn't quite have the pace to finish it off.
No, it's a tough one because Mike is obviously quick, and I'm nowhere in the championship hunt. I'm battling Magnus and Noah for P3 in the championship once we get past Yase. So just thinking, long game, I can try and fight, lose time. Everyone else can catch up, could cause incidents, or just use head and fight as much as I can without losing time. And yeah, at the end, the goal for me is to try and finish P3 in this championship, and that's what I'm trying to do.
Very sensible, Craig. To be fair, that is. Yeah, I mean, Micah was obviously catching you hand over fist,
yeah, his lap time, his best lap was over a second quicker than a second quicker.
Well, yes, I said that in the broadcast, and the other thing is as well, once you'd let him by, you could potentially sit on his coattails and let him drag you along. So
I mean, I thought he got braked me, and I wasn't going to risk if I brake later, then there would have been an incident. And I'm old enough and wise enough to know when my battles are done and when the battles are gonna be good. So yeah.
Nice. Well, thank you very much, Craig.
No worries.
Well done again. Another podium.
Yeah, I think
you've had what have you had?
5 now, I think.
Yeah, 5. Yeah, you've had obviously one in Imola.
Yeah, Australia, China, Canada, obviously Imola, and now here.
Yes, Canada, of course. Race 2 at Canada. Yeah.
I like Italian races. I think we need more.
We've already got 2. That's plenty enough for me.
What's wrong with Magello? Come on.
Quite a lot. All right, thanks, Craig.
Good. Catch you guys
Cheers.
next time. Right.
That was Mr. Patterson. Alex, I'm going to let you do the next interview because you always let me do them all. Who do you want to speak to?
Right, well, I'm going to have to get my facts straight before saying anything. But we'll bring Kurt Rochard in, who was P3 in race 2. Hello, Kurt.
Hello.
A decent race 2 for you then, up to P3, obviously. Toby did have his money on you for the win. Were you expecting to be third? Were you expecting to win? Was there any expectation going into race 2 there?
Yeah, definitely neither podium or win was not on my to-do list, of course, for this weekend. couldn't practice for as long as I would have liked, because still having some issues with motivation to practice in general. So yeah, really happy with the podium, and I couldn't really expect it. So it was quite nerve-wracking, I would say, and at least I made it not passing out.
So obviously quite a few incidents in race 2. Was it a challenge at all there for you, or was it just smooth sailing for the most part on your end? Because I didn't see you involved in much apart from lap 1.
Yeah. For sure, just thinking of where these accidents could happen and where you can go, it's pretty difficult to, well, how would I say, to see the future, where to go, where is the right place to go, not to get hit. So yeah, from my point of view, I was sailing after I saw the crash between Harvey and Lawless. I decided not to push too much because my rear end tires were about to overheat, and yeah, if I pushed too hard, then yeah, I would have spun. So in Lesmo 2 exit, almost spun. So yeah, took it easy, just sailed through.
Either way, a great race, Kurt. Congratulations on P3 in race 2 and starting where you finished in race 2 as well. So yeah, thank you, Kurt.
Well done. I'm going to just see if anyone wants an interview. 2 seconds. I'll be right back. There's some nonsense going on.
Yeah, that's quite interesting. The FS2 Discord channel is actually, I think, self-imploding currently, which not a good thing.
Thomas Harvey wants an interview.
Okay.
Thomas Harvey wants an interview. Hello, Thomas.
Hello, hello.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. Yeah.
Upsy downsy race, race 1,
yeah.
and an upsy downsy race 2. Talk us through it.
Talk us through it. I mean, honestly, partially to blur. I'll do what I can. Basically, in quali, lap wasn't there. It's not a great thing when you do a better lap in the practice session than in the actual thing. But it was still not bad. I mean, to be honest with you, I kind of got lucky because it was very close behind, and up in front, I would have had to do a decent, a couple tenth improvement to really get on the next row. So it wasn't too bad. I wasn't that happy with it, but obviously more in the tank. But how that would have affected my race, I probably would have made it a lot easier because just sort of wrong place, wrong time at the start. I didn't get the best start in the first race, but it wasn't too bad. But I just got caught up in it, got tagged, and I think I went down to P10, and then I nearly died multiple times. I'm not really sure I survived it, to be honest with you. I couldn't even tell you who was involved, frankly, because I'm all just survival instinct, to be honest. But we got through anyway. And then from there, it was a decent race back up the field. It was quite enjoyable, to be fair. Obviously, should have been amongst the leaders more, but still, it was a decent recovery to P4. Same as it was in Spa, actually, funny enough. And then in race 2, obviously, it was P4 again, so a bit of deja vu. I don't know why I like P4 so much. But race 2 start, again, similar sort of thing. It was looking really, really good. I mean, I knew at the very least I was going to be in the fight for the win. I knew there was pressure from behind from some other people, but, I knew I had the pace. And then, obviously, just getting tagged by, I think it was Brody.
Yeah.
Just sort of killed that one. It was very unfortunate. No hard feelings, but it is a shame, obviously, because could have definitely won that race. At the very least, would have been in the fight for it. Because Michael caught up to Craig, and he was right behind me. So that's all that needs to be said, really. But I mean, still, again, P4 and P4 is decent points. So I'm not unhappy in that standpoint. But obviously, a little bit more in both races could have been achievable, and through some circumstances that wasn't the case. But still enjoyable race nonetheless.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Lawless I think just missed his breaking point a little bit, just went into the back of you in that race 2 incident. But as you say, that just knocks you. I mean, it's all about the slipstream at Monza, isn't it? And as soon as you've dropped back from the car in front, it's so hard to catch them again, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, at Spa, it was really, I didn't realise how much it was until I did it, and like in Spa, and yeah, it was the dirty air is definitely too much in this car, to be honest with you. But at Monza, it's okay because if you are faster, then obviously it's mostly straight, so you just have to stay with through some corners. But then if you so there's a sort of weird point where you need to be like a certain amount behind to really get the max amount of the slipstream plus the dirty air. To sort of stay in the train, but then obviously you lose slipstream, you lose so much. So yeah, and being outside makes it very difficult. And yeah, it just creates these sort of gaps where you just sort of lose the lead. I mean, I thought I was going to get very lucky in the first race because there was so much battling going up ahead, but obviously, you know, incidents occur, contact happens, and sort of splits everything up again, and then it's really impossible to regain onto the next pack. So yeah, it's just that's just sort of dynamic of these cars plus Monza, and yeah, kind of made it impossible to, because no one really has like massive pace advantages on anyone anyway. I mean, I did on certain people, but again, it's it's one of the tracks where there's not much to it. So
no,
yeah.
3 chicanes and a couple of Lesmos and a parabolica. That's what you got really. And even parabolica is not. You can have a bad parabolica and lose a 10th, can't you? So.
Exactly.
Yeah, but thank you, Tom. That was a really articulate response.
Thank you so much.
I enjoyed that one. Thank you. Thank you very much. Right, let's move on. Alex, I think, actually, to be honest with you, I think I'm done.
Yeah, no, it's too much for one race. And looking at this chat,
yeah, it's all got a bit salty in the FS2 chat. I hope everyone sorts it out a little bit, because I don't think it was the worst race we've seen this season. It wasn't great, but we have had worse, I think, this season. And overall, the first race was pretty good, bar a couple of little incidents, just a little incident. But overall, I've enjoyed myself, Alex, once again.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining. Any final wordies?
No, it was a decent race to watch. It was entertaining, but I think there's going to be a nice long CC report coming for this race, which will be interesting to read. But it's also going to be a lot to keep track of. 3 pages is my bet.
I'm going to hold my tongue on that one now. I've said all I need to say during the racing, but thank you, grazie mille. That's what you say, prego. Say prego.
No.
Okay. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. This has been Monza. I've been Toby Davis. That's been Alex Foulkes. I've been joined by Remco de Zeeuw as well. And Remco, I hope I've got your surname roughly right there. On point. Oh, nice. It's good answer to that question. Right. See you all in 2 weeks' time. We will be back for Formula Sprint 2 at Azerbaijan, Baku. There is more racing action this Thursday for Formula Sprint 1. Do not miss it. Should be good. But I've been Toby Davis. Thank you so much for joining me. See you next time. But until then, cheers.
Bye-bye.
Bye.